The goal of the education is understanding, and the goal of the training is performance. Training program often opens up windows to world of latest technologies and inspires us to explore new tools and finally contribute to bridge gap between industry and academia. A hearty welcome to everyone present online. Now, I would like to call upon Mr. Shashikaran Sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, to welcome the gathering. Over to Shashikaran Sir.
Good morning to all. Am I audible, Benak? Good morning to all and welcome to today's inaugural function. On behalf of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering Department and Information Science Engineering Department, I am delighted to welcome you this morning to 1 week student development program on programming in Python. Thank you for being here. First of all, I would like to welcome Chief Guest of today's function, Sri S. N. Nagaraja Sir, Secretary, National Education Society, Shumaga, for gracing today's function. I welcome you, sir.
Namaskara.
I wholeheartedly welcome our beloved principal, Dr. H.R. Mahadevaswamy sir, who is the backbone of organizing this STP. A warm welcome to you, sir. I would like to welcome ever active Dr. Manjunath sir, Dean Academic, to this function. I welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome our beloved HOD, Dr. Usha Devi Madam, HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering Department, who is the motivation for conducting this STP. I welcome you, Madam. I also like to welcome Dr. Sanjeev Kunte, our HOD of Information Science Engineering, who is constantly supporting all our activities. A warm welcome to you, sir. I am happy to welcome resource person of the student development program, Mr. Raghavan P., corporate trainer, Bangalore. We are delighted to have you here. I welcome you, sir. I also welcome Dr. Srikanth and Mr. Suresh from Placement Cell to this function. I also welcome all coordinators of this STP, teaching and non-teaching staff of both departments. I would also like to welcome all the participants of this workshop, and I hope you will have a stimulating and productive workshop over the next 1 week. Once again, I welcome one and all. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to Bennett.
Thank you, sir. Now I'm HOD of Department about the workshop. Over to ma'am.
Good morning to everybody. The respected dignitaries present for this workshop. The resource person, Mr. Raghavan P., the corporate trainer from Bangalore, the coordinators of the workshop from Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering and the Department of Information Science Engineering, and my dear student participants. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all for this workshop. I'll just brief about this workshop. And this workshop is planned to conduct from today, that is from 20th of July to 24th of July 2020. The resource person handling for this workshop is, as I said, he is the most experienced person in this field, in the field of Python program, the Mr. Raghavan P., the corporate trainer from Bangalore. The participants are electronics and telecommunication and the information science and engineering students of our college. The total number of students registered for this workshop is 200, and that they are the more preference is given for the pre-final year students. And if I come to know about the workshop related topics and what is this Python program, we all know that the Python is an interpreted, object-oriented, high-level programming language with a dynamic semantics, and it is easy to learn, and so that the syntax will emphasize the readability, and therefore it reduces the cost of program maintenance. So that is the beauty of this program. Python supports the modules and packages which encourages program modularity and the code reuses. And also the students can use the Python for developing the desktop GUI and applications related website development, the game development, machine learning and artificial intelligence, data science and data visualization, and the business applications, the 3D CAD applications, like many more applications which are more focus in the current technology and in society. And also one of the beauty of this program is it is one of the top 5 most popular language in the world. And most of the students are already learned about it right from their PU level. They knew about what is C, C++, and currently they are studying about what is Java, and they might have heard about like Ruby, Shell, and so many like top programs. So among those, Python is also one of the most familiar programming language which is worldwide used. And also like many reputed organizations like Wikipedia, Google, and Yahoo, and CERN and NASA, like many more organizations are using this program for their application purposes. And the other important thing is what the workshop we are conducting. It is a hands-on workshop. So whatever the theory, theory the few students may be knowing about this Python language. So this workshop will give about the more knowledge about what is Python, how that can be used, and also this workshop will be focused on the hands-on like applications or little, but they will gain more knowledge to develop applications which will be used in the society. So that the students can also learn how this Python language can be used to work with most of the students who are using the Raspberry Pi for their project purposes. So if they know this Python language, so it is very easy and very flexible for the students to use the Raspberry Pi for their project work, and also they can bring some like product using this Python language, and also they're using the Raspberry Pi. So with this, I conclude about this brief about the program, and also I wish all the students to get the maximum benefit and also to gain the knowledge about this Python language and get a practical experience about this, and use this practical knowledge to build some products using Python language. So wish you all the best. And thank you.
Now I call upon Mr. Chetan Diaz to introduce resource person of this online session, Mr. Raghavan P, Corporate Trainer, Bangalore.
Thank you, Bennett. Good morning, everyone. It's my immense pleasure to introduce our resource person today, Mr. Raghavan P. Currently, he is working as freelancer corporate trainer. He has 19 years of experience in most of the fields, including higher education, corporate training, content development, training management, e-learning, software development. And also he is a research scholar at VTU in the area of cloud computing. Coming to his education, he did MCA from NI College, Mysore, VTU in 2001. And later MPhil in computer science from Bharathidasan University, Tiruchirappalli in 2008. So coming for his corporate training, he is certified trainer for Accenture, has trained batches at level 1, 2, 3 on Java and web technologies at Accenture, Wipro, HP, Excelsoft, A2S, Amazon. And also worked as guest faculty for MTech program from BITS Pilani. That is Work Integrated Learning Program, has conducted classes at Wipro, EMC, SAP, Insure, Cisco, Amazon, and cluster batches. As coming to his professional journey, he worked as a faculty at Reddy Jana Sangha College, Bangalore, PESIT, Bangalore, and MS Ramaya Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Later, he worked as subject matter expert at Excelsoft Technologies Private Limited. Was involved in e-learning project development and as a SME for Java technologies. Represented Excelsoft and coordinated with NASSCOM for content development for engineering student at national level. Coming for his publications, he co-authored a book on Java for Pearson Sanguine Technical Publishers. Worked as reviewer for books on Java by Pearson Publication. And published papers in national and international conferences and journals. We are overwhelmed to have you here, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Sanjeev Kunte, sir, Professor and HOD.
A very good morning to all of you. A very good morning. Speaker.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Respected dignitaries, Sri S.N. Nagaraja, Secretary NES, our beloved Principal Dr. H.R. Mahadevaswamy, Dr. Manjunath, Dean Academic, Dr. Usha Devi, HOD, Telecommunication Department, Dr. Srikanth, HOD, Placement Department, Professor Suresh, Placement Officer, and resource person of this workshop, P. Raghavan, is a corporate trainer from Bangalore, and the workshop coordinators, Mr. Pawan, Mr. Chetan, Mr. Shashikiran, Mr. Banak Patel, Mr. Aparna, teaching and non-teaching staff of ISC and TC department, my dear colleagues, dear students, I welcome all to this 5 days SDP program. As you are all aware that Python is an open source and it is an high level and powerful language, and it has been widely used in the industry along with the Java. You know that there is an ample opportunity in the industry for the students having a skill set in the Python. So a workshop of this kind will improve your coding as well as employability opportunities. So I request all the students to make best use of this workshop by participating in your all full scale. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Chief Guest of this inaugural function, Mr. Nagaraja SN, Secretary, National Education Society, to address the participants. Over to Secretary, sir.
Good morning, all. I'm very happy to be with you on this online session for Python programming workshop for students. This is a new experience for all to be online, attending the online workshop for 5 days. I sincerely hope the students will take this very seriously and get all the benefits from this workshop so that they'll become more proficient in Python programming, because this Python programming is becoming very popular nowadays, and all the students, it's a must learn programming language. The best part of this program is it's very simple, and it is available on the open source also, and this is very popular, and all the latest web applications, Internet of Things, and data analysis, and so on and so forth. This Python program is of much use, and the students will definitely be very much benefited from this workshop. I again wish all the very best for all the sponsors and all the JNNC faculty members of the telecommunication department and IS department for arranging this wonderful workshop. I wish all the very best. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Now I request our source of inspiration, Dr. H.R. Mahadevaswamy, sir, Principal, JNNCE, for Presidential Address.
So good morning to everyone. Sri S.N. Nagaraja, Secretary NES, and the HODs of Department of IS, Dr. Sanjay Kunte, Dr. Usha Devi, and Dr. Manjunatha, Dean Academic, Dr. Srikanth, HOD of Placement Department, Mr. Suresh G, Placement Officer, and all the coordinators of this workshop, and more than that, the interested audience today for the workshop for the students of the IS department and the TC department. Now, this student development program is a concept which we started last year, where we want to conduct a couple of the development program, the training program, awareness program, various things which we started doing from last couple of years. The reason being is simple, because in this competitive world, once you educate yourself, that means you get a degree. The whatever the course you are pursuing, maybe electronics and telecommunication, or the information science and engineering, whatever the course you pursue, then you get a degree. So one side you get a degree. So other side is the we need to get the job or the placement to be done. Now in this competitive world, it is very difficult because there are so many engineering colleges, students are passing out every year. It's on a huge competition, and so the best of the best people the industry wants, best of the best people from these colleges who are passing out. And if you look at that particular way, we have various skills and competence required by the industry, and it's not 1, 2, 3 because it keep evolving. And if you just go back to the 10, 15 or 20, 25 years back, C programming was the main thing which is required, and even today C programming is being used. But still, as the technologies keep developing, maybe now today this era is for artificial intelligence and IoT, and also the data science, which is coming up. And suiting to this particular thing, we also require the programming language. One side is that people use the licensed software like a C or C++, whatever it is, they can various license software. Other side, because that becomes very expensive, and then people want the open source software. So like a machine, the Python programming is the machine, the open source software which can be used for the machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, web application, many things as our secretary already mentioned. So our wish is that our college students should expose to the industry skills what is required. So in that aspect, and we are arranging various topic, the workshop on the various topic like a student development program, training program. We are arranging on every year, every semester, at least 2 programs we are arranging for each of the semester, whether a second year or third year or final year, or even first year. So we are arranging at least 2 minimum program. So one is that student development program, other is the training program on the soft skill and the other technology domain skills. Could be like a data science, IoT, AI, deep learning, whatever it is. So we are arranging that workshop, the training program. Apart from that, this SDP of 3 days to minimum 3 days to the 1 week, we are arranging for every semester. So in that aspect, in this semester, before we start this semester, because of the COVID-19, we're in the very tough situation, and people are, most of the students and most of the parents are worried. So what will happen to me, or what will happen to my son or daughter? So the still classes are not started, and what will happen to the placement? And many things are, a lot of questions are arising out of their mind. To fulfill that gap, or to take away that worries, or take away that the point. So like what we did is we started arranging the training program or the student development program, so that the students will be equipped with the latest knowledge what is required. Maybe that way the placement and training department, in collaboration with the Department of IS and Department of TCE, so they are arranging this training program, and we have lined up many training program or many student development program for various branches, not only for this particular 2 branches, for all the branches we are arranging this SDP, where you will be ready with the skills, you will be ready with the competence what is required. So maybe this is this workshop what we arrange for 5 days is only maybe initial workshop. Maybe once you learn from the experts are there, Mr. Raghavan, who is a corporate trainer, who is very well experienced in the industry, and then the training particular thing. He's going to give you the basics and maybe a programming concept, and also maybe some algorithms kind of thing. So he will expose you to the various topics in this Python programming. So now once you get that basic things and whatever we required, then it's up to you to practice. Because it's not just if you attend the 5 days program, it's not that you are an expert. You are not competence level is increased to the 100%. Maybe 20 to 30% or 40% is what they're going to get in this particular workshop. Maybe remaining a percentage of skill or percentage of the competence you have to acquire by practicing it. So my request to the students who are here in this workshop, don't assume, don't expect that once you complete this training program, you are 100% Python programmer. Where expert Python programmer is not that. So maybe you need to do a couple of mini projects or small projects, the hobby projects, whatever. There are so many things to take some problem, try to solve that, or do the major project itself. So maybe our practice daily at our home. So you need not to come to college, you can do at home. So practice that, so that by the time maybe next 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, if you keep on doing this programming one or the other way, if you keep on learning, practicing it, definitely when you go to the placement, when the companies visit our campus, or when you go to the placement, the campus recruitment or any other recruitment, definitely you can do better than the other student. So whenever exposed to the Python programming, whenever exposed to the training program, so you can do better than those people. That's what my assumption, and that's what I wish. So I request all the students attend this the program seriously. The Python program, learn that whatever the basics given by the trainer, the various trainers were arranged that, so that you listen to them and then take the note of that. Then every day, whatever the assignment is given to you, please do complete that, and then maybe you can do more than that. It's not that only you can do that much. So my request to all the students who are in this workshop or who are not part of this also, you can tell them that to attend this workshop so that you can learn better. So when we come to the placement, definitely you can go to the they take the good placement, and the companies will pick up you, and then they'll give the offer letter to all of you. So there are various options. So maybe when you say Python programming, don't assume that we're all expert. So various things like there's a maintenance project, development project, or the maybe web application. So maybe depending upon your learning level, depending upon the competence level of that, you will be fit into that. So maybe you can now, when you are practicing it, when you're learning it, when you're practicing it, you just assess yourself. Where do I fit? For example, if you're fitting in the architecture level for a Python programming, yes, you can go to that point. Or if you're not too good in the logic, too good in the algorithm, too good in the concept, probably you can go to the AI and machine learning side. So if you are good at the some hardware part, but I want only some small part of it programming is required, then you can go to IoT side. So my request to the student is that when you are next 5 days, whatever you are learning, so you yourself classify, you yourself to see where you fit in, and then accordingly you can practice. So don't attempt to that place where you cannot do it. So plus just see what you can do and where you can do, then how much you can do. So now I request all the students to look into this also, so that accordingly you can try, and accordingly you can learn the things in a better way. So with this, I take this opportunity to thank all the coordinators, the staff coordinators, and the HODs on placement department for arranging this such a good workshop, and that too from the very experts like Raghavan and their team arranging this workshop, student development program. And also I wish all the students the very best, and keep learning, and enjoy the next 5 days, and learn it better in a better way, learn the better in a better way. So thank you so much, and all the best. Thank you. Over to Banak Patel.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. And I assure you that all the students will make best utilization of this online STP. Now, I request Mr. Pawan M., Assistant Professor, Department of Information Science, to deliver word of thanks. Over to Pawan, sir.
Okay, good morning all. Okay, it's my pleasure to say a vote of thanks to each and everyone who have gathered here. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank our chief guest, Shri S.N. Nagaraja sir, Secretary, National Education Society, Shimoga, for his valuable presence. On behalf of all the faculties, thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank our beloved principal, Dr. H.R. Mahadeva Swami, who has supported and guided for organizing this STP. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Academic Dean Dr. P. Manjunatha sir. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank our beloved HOD Dr. Sanjeev Kunte sir, HOD of Information Science and Engineering, who is the motivation for conducting this program. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Usha Devi madam, HOD of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering Department. Thank you, madam. I would like to thank resource person for this STP, Mr. Raghavan P., Corporate Trainer, Bangalore. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Shrikant and Mr. Suresh from Placement Cell. Thank you, sir. Last, I would like to thank coordinators, students, and staff who are present here. Okay, thank you, one and all. Okay, over to Benak.
Thank you, sir. Now we have officially ended the inaugural function. Now, without further ado, let's start this session. Over to Raghavan, sir.
Hello, sir, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay.
Raghavan, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Hope I am audible and my screen is also visible.
Yes, you are audible and
I just want to know whether
Sir, you are audible and your slides are visible. They have
Okay,
been
sir.
shared successfully.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, shall I start the session now?
yes, you can start the session.
Okay, fine. So there are some initial technical issues. Yes, we need to bear this as we are sitting very much apart, connecting two different cities. Okay, geographically very far. Okay, so it's very obvious that these problems might occur. Okay, so I'm not actually I'm not sharing my video, probably because it may actually bring down the bandwidth issues. Okay, so it might bring up the bandwidth issues. Okay, so let me start now. We are already, I think it's already 45 minutes done. Okay, so how to proceed with? Okay, so let me just, I'm just checking where is the chat. Hope this Q&A is the chat, I believe. Okay. Let me just have a quick look at this. Sir, is this the chat, question and answer? So Q&A, is this the chat where the students can connect to me? Is that the one? Because I'm not having any chat options to have some clarifications. Is this the one? Q&A, whatever I'm seeing. For
No, sir. Actually, it's for a multiple choice question, I think. But you can go with the chat list. Chat with in the chat. You can go for all students like that. All panel for everyone.
Sir, where is that visible, sir? I'm not able to see the chat, so that if somebody raises any doubt or something in between students.
Yeah, just a minute, sir.
So this is the chat. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, got it, sir. Yeah, fine.
Yes. So good morning, all again. We are starting with this introduction to Python. Okay. So we will just go today. We will just have a very quick look at how what is Python, why Python. Okay. So and then what are the initial things that are required to start up with a Python. Okay. So these things. Let me just have a very quick look on these things. Okay, and then probably by tomorrow, okay, or else at least by the end of this session, we'll be starting with a simple program. Okay, so that from tomorrow we can have some programs. Okay, some small. Okay, if possible, by the end of this workshop, we will be able to build some small project. Okay, so that's what I have planned for. Okay, so hope that might happen. Okay, so we'll start with this programming in Python. I think students over here are having experience, if not experience, at least some coding knowledge on C or C++. Okay, so that's very much required for us. If it is C++, that will be very much beneficial for me to go ahead later, in later part, at least if not now. Okay, so if at least one programming knowledge is a basic requirement, which I feel that you most of you have already have it. Okay, so let me start with this programming. What is a Python? Okay, so like most of your professors who introduced this workshop, okay, so who are talking for this initial session, okay, so they have mentioned what actually is Python. Okay, so what are its benefit, where are they applied for? I was really surprised with the homework that they have done, especially principal sir and secretary sir. Okay, so I was very happy with the preparation that they had with respect to this Python technology. Okay, so that's very much true. Okay, so this Python, as your principal sir already mentioned, it's a very popular programming language that is cropping up as. Okay, so if you remember, or probably your generation, okay, so would have heard in your high school, okay, right from your high school, that there is a if you are a technical person, okay, so or if you had any brothers, okay, elder brothers, okay, who are working in IT industry, they would have mentioned, okay, so like they are working on Java, they are working on Ruby on Rails, okay, so these are the technologies, okay, so that they would be working on. Okay, so yes, this Java actually ruled for around 15 years in this IT industry. Okay, so it completely ruled the IT industry. Okay, so whatever technology you mentioned, there was something called as okay, so you can do it with Java. That was the thing that which was a buzzword in IT industry. But slowly, right from 2015, okay, so now we are almost in a maturity stage. Okay, so Python is taking over all the fields of this IT industry. Okay, so like already your professors have mentioned, okay, so where we don't have this Python, okay, so that is what the question that has to be put. Okay, so what can be done in Python? No, that's probably answer will be very big over there. Okay, so what can be done, what can't be done? Okay, so we can say that there is nothing called which is not possible in an IT industry through Python. Is that clear? Okay, so that strong is Python. Okay, so that much it has established in the IT industry. Okay, so and it's a and I came to know that most of you pre-final year students are have registered for this, and this is an excellent opportunity for us to learn at this stage, exactly at this stage. Okay, so before leaving the college, we need to be equipped with this particular technology. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. Okay, so however you want, as your principal sir was mentioning. Okay, so you can do many things with this Python. Okay, so why we can do many things? Okay, so how we can do many things? So those things you will be appreciating probably in the sessions that we will be continuing for today and in the later 5 days. Okay, so yes, to begin with, what is Python? Okay, so it's an interpreted language. Okay, so what do you mean by interpreted language? Okay, so if you ask C is a compiled language. Okay, so one small deviation. I have come to know that there are computer science students and also electronics and communication students who have registered for this. Okay, so probably for a computer science students, most of the things that we will be discussing initially, at least in this session 1 and probably tomorrow's session, you might feel that these are very basics and easy to learn. Okay, so but what I have done is this is very much required for a non-computer science student. Okay, so students who are from electronics or telecommunication background, okay, so hopefully they are in very much required for these type of discussions. Okay, so let me just a little bit elaborate on these things, and then later we can get into the actual coding. Okay, so that every one of us will be in a position to appreciate, okay, so why we require Python. Okay, so instead of what is Python, why we require Python, so which I will be answering later. Okay, so that we will be appreciating. So first for that, we will just try to learn what is Python. Okay, it's an interpreted language. Okay, so what do you mean by interpreted language? Okay, so what is a language? First thing. Okay, so what is a language? Okay, so it's in a general English. Okay, it's a medium to communicate from one person to another. Okay, we use a language. Is it clear? Okay, so it's a medium to communicate. Language is a medium to communicate the interests or the ideas or the feelings of one person to another person. Is it clear? So for that we use a language. Okay, I use English as a language for communicating certain technical things with you people. Is it clear? Okay, so now what do you mean by a computer language? That was about a human language. What is a computer language? Okay, so whatever ideas we have, Okay, so to convert it, okay, into an happening software. Is it clear? Okay, so you want to convert your ideas into an happening software. Okay, so or an application. Today we call everything as an app or an application. So we'll be in today's generation terminologies. So whatever ideas we have, okay, and that ideas to be converted into an app or an application, we require a computer language. Okay, so I need to communicate my ideas to my machine. Okay, this machine actually converts those ideas using that language, okay, into an happening application. Is it clear? Okay, so that's a language. That's a computer science language. Okay, so that's called as computer language, and we have n number of computer languages. Okay, so like C, C++, Java. Okay, so we have Python, we have PHP. Okay, so we have HTML, though HTML is not a purely a language. Okay, so for many things. Okay, so but still it is also one of the languages. Okay, so like this we have n number of languages. Okay, and most of these languages are compiled language. Is it clear? Most of these languages are compiled languages, means we have something, okay, so called as an compiler, where actually we write a code and that compiler converts it into an executable. Hope you are able to understand that compiler converts into an executable. Okay, so this executable can be run. Okay, this executable can be run. So there is a pause between the program that we write and then it gets converted, and then finally what we see on the output. Okay, so there is a pause, small pause between these events. Okay, so now so that is about a compiled language. Okay, so your C is a compiled language, your C++ is a compiled language, your Java is partially a compiled and an interpreted language. Okay, so Python is purely an interpreted language. Is it clear? Okay, so what do you mean by interpreted language? Okay, so there is no compilation process required for us over here. Okay, so you will be appreciating this interpretations. Is it clear? Okay, so a line by line conversion happens at the when you try to run. Is it clear? Okay, so when you try to run your code, okay, a line by line, a small amount of compilation happens and then gets converted to the runnable. Okay, and then you will have a output on your machine. Is it clear? Okay, so that's an interpreted language. Means there is no need for us to pause or else wait for the compilation to happen. So the next question is, does it affect with respect to anything called as an application? Okay, no. So this interpreted language or compiled language, okay, so please listen, at least for non-computer science students, okay, listen carefully, because probably this can be a question in your campus interviews also. What's the difference between compiled and interpreted language? Okay, so here in an interpreted, what's the benefit of this? Okay, comparison I have done. Okay, I have given the difference between compiled and an interpreted. Okay, so what are the benefits? Okay, so the benefits of this interpreted language is there is no need for us to wait for compilation. And then will it affect the final output? No, no. Okay, so if you are thinking that because Python is an interpreted language or because Java is an interpreted and a compiled language, we will have a better software. No, no, sorry. Okay, so that's not the idea over here. Okay, the applications are same whether it is an interpreted language, whether you write in C or C++. Okay, there are certain influences that happen with respect to the languages, but still, okay, as it is interpreted or compiled, there is no much influence on the, not much, there is almost zero influence on the final output. Is it clear? Okay, so then where is this useful for us? Okay, so then where is this useful for us? It makes the programmer's job very fast. Is that clear? Okay, so that is why we are appreciating this Python. Is it clear? So as a programmer, tomorrow when we enter, okay, into this IT industry and when we start developing some applications, or when we start supporting certain legacy applications, Okay, so actually we will be using this if you are trying to use an interpreted language like Python. There are many interpreted languages. Okay, so Python is also one of them. Okay, so when you start doing this, then probably you will be appreciating this Python. Okay, not the end user who uses your application. Okay, he will probably not appreciate this has been developed by a Python. Okay, so it's looking good or it's fast or something like that. No, as a programmer, it is very much helpful for us to use this Python. Is it clear? Okay, so because it's very fast, as it's an interpreted, you will be seeing that in the hands-on sessions that we will be having. Okay, so in later part of today's session. Okay, so that's about interpreted language and what is its influence on the final output and what's the difference between interpreted and the compiled language. Okay, so it's an open source language. Okay, so as your head of the department has already mentioned, okay, so it's an open source language, and even your principal also was mentioning it. So there was a small confusion. Okay, so with the there was a small confusion over there when they mentioned open source. I think one of your professors. Okay, so it was a discussion. It was a statement on a license and no license, all those things. But still. Okay, so we'll have a very quick look at what is actually an open source. What do you mean by open source language? Okay, so I just want to know. Okay, so if a language or a software, okay, so if it is an open source, is it free? Is it free? I just want answers. Okay, so can I see that on the chat box? So my question over here is, okay, so my question over here is, I am saying that I'm just asking whether if I say open source, is it free? So that's my question. Can I expect some answers fast? Okay, so they are saying yes, I think. Okay, not all open source. Fine. Okay, so good. Okay, so I just wanted to know that yes, most of you are with me or not, huh? Or just blindly listening. Okay, good. Okay, so yes, there are some answers. Okay, so some of us are a few of them. There are a few exceptions. Yes, correct. Okay, so there are some answers from the students. Okay, so students who said, okay, so yes, it is free. Okay, and there are some students say that no, it is not free. And yes, one Mr. Abhishek is saying that not all open sources, okay, are free. Few of them are exception. Open source can be, okay. So what is an open source? We will see that later, Mr. Chirantan. Okay, so I'll come to that. Okay, so but before that, okay, so we are just getting ourselves clarified. Okay, so saying that, okay, so whether open source is free or not. Okay, so let us look into it. Okay, so first thing is open source. If you say open source, we always try to map that as a free software. No, that's not correct. Okay, so it can be true, it can be false. Okay, open source can be free and open source can be with the license and not license, with the cost. Okay, so obviously even for open source also you require a license. You should have signed, okay, I agree to the above condition, something. Okay, so only after agreement you will get that open source to be downloaded for you. So first we will just try to understand. Mr. Chirantan has tried to define it. Okay, so what do you mean by open source? Open source means, I'll give you a simple example. So we go to a medicine shop and then we just ask for a medicine. Is it clear? Okay, so we'll just ask for Crocin. Okay, a very common medicine for fever and then headache or body aches. Okay, so most of us, okay, take this crocin. Okay, so once you take crocin, you have a combination that is being put inside this crocin. Okay, so what is it? You have paracetamol and you have some other medicines. Okay, so I'm not good at those chemical things that has been put into the medicine. Okay, but I'm aware that there is something called as paracetamol which has been put into this crocin. Is it clear? 60% paracetamol and 10% something else and another 10%. Like we have ingredient details over there. Is it clear? Okay, so now hope people are understanding this. Okay, so we have ingredient details, means we have all the rights. Okay, so to know what is the ingredient, even if I go to I'll just purchase Horlicks. Okay, so even in Horlicks they would have mentioned what is the sugar content over there, what is the fat content, and what are the other things, or if any preservatives have been put over there, whether it is a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian. Is it clear? Or a semi-vegetarian. Okay, so there are a lot of classes over there. So we have every details that has been put over there. Okay, ingredients in the form of ingredients. Okay, so that was about our provisions or the medicine that we buy in the market. Okay, so now let us come back to this IT field. Okay, so I want a software. Okay, I want a software. Okay, so I want to download Uber or Ola or Swiggy or Zomato. Is it clear? Okay, so I want to download these applications. I want to download MS Word, MS Office, Microsoft Office. I want to download some application. I want to download a game. Is it clear? Okay, so I want to have that software. Is it clear? Download in the sense I want to have that software. Okay, so can we get the ingredient details over there? I just want the answer from the students, at least few of them. Can we get the ingredients of this software when I download those software? Yes, the answer is yes. Ganashri is saying yes, but usually 99% of the time we don't get the ingredients. Is that clear? Okay, so what has been used to develop this application? Is it clear? Most of the time we don't get that information. Okay, so we just download that application or the software that is required. Is it clear? Nowhere we get the details. Is it clear? Yes, those who are saying no, it is correct. Okay, so one student who has said yes, it is wrong, madam. Okay, so we actually don't get the information most of the time. Most of the time we don't get the information using what this software or application is built from. Is it clear? Okay, so now getting that here in the IT industry, we need to look at a software or an application in a different perspective. So not just only the ingredients, I need to get the complete software. Okay, the build, okay, the developed, the build that that has been used, the programs that has been used to build this application, all those programs has to be downloaded. Then it is called as open source. Is that clear? Is that clear with everyone? Okay, so if I get all the programs, I get all the Java programs, I get all the C programs that is involved. Okay, so I get all the C, C++, Java, HTML5 that is involved to develop this application. Okay, so when I get that programs downloaded along with my application, then we claim that this is an open source. Means the source also is revealed to you. Is it clear? Hope you are able to understand this. Okay, so even the source also is revealed. Okay, so source also is given. Okay, so that is called as open source. Okay, means, sir, when I download that source, okay, can't I modify it? So already one of your classmates has already mentioned about it. Okay, so when you have an open source, yes, you have all the rights to modify. Okay, so you have all the rights to modify, but you can't distribute it again. Is it clear? Okay, so you can't distribute it again. Fine, you are able to understand this, I believe. Okay, so that's the difference. That's the difference. I download, I just, okay, so I'm getting hands raised over here. Okay, so fine. I could not get what it is. Okay, so I think it was an answer, I believe. Okay, so let me just close this. Okay, so now, sir, those who are answering, or if you are having any questions, please put that on chat. Okay, any students or the participants. Okay, if you are having any questions, okay, are you, because I'm a bit uncomfort with handling this Zoom. Okay, so okay, so please you can put that or whatever is your doubts or questions can be put on chat, so that I'll be able to answer them. Hope now you have understood what is open source. Open source is we get the application with the language that has been used. Okay. So now can I modify it and then redistribute it? No, most of the times you are not allowed, because that's a big process. Okay, to distribute, you need to once again get into the license agreement, all those things. Okay, but that is about open source. Now, is all this open source free? That's the next question. Okay, so is all this open source free? Okay, so no, they are not free. They are not free. Okay, so there can be some applications. There can be some applications where you purchase it with the source code. It can be open source, and then you would have paid for the license. Is that clear? Okay, so a software called XYZ, an application called XYZ, you will purchase that application for 1 year license. Okay, and also you will be downloading which is a rare case actually, you will be downloading the source code, the programs that has been used to write these applications. Okay, so that also is possible. Okay, but majority, 80% of the time, open source comes with a free agreement, 80% of the time, and it is not always. Is it clear? Okay, so hope you are able to understand that, I believe. Okay. So now you will be able to download that application, which is a free application, and then you can also modify it, or you can just look into the source code that has been used to develop this particular software or application, or the compiler. Here Python, the complete interpreter or the compiler is an open source. Is it clear? Okay, so you can just modify it. Fine. So now, yes, that was a very detailed discussion. Let us get into this. Okay, so it can save your considerable amount during program development. As I already mentioned, you will be appreciating the way you will be developing the applications using Python. Okay, it is not compiled, hence it's very fast, interactive. Okay, so the interpreter can be used interactively, as I said, which makes it easy to experiment with features of the language. Means all the available libraries or the packages, okay, so that are available with the language. Okay, it's very easy for us to interact with. These are some marketing terms. Okay, so most of the programming languages are easy, okay, to experiment with. Okay, but Python is more interactive. Okay, so I can just try to claim that. Okay, but most of the time they are marketing terminologies. Is it clear? Okay, so yes, you can have many throwaway programs. Means just for our experiments, we can just use them. Okay, so bottom-up approach. What is bottom-up approach? We as of now we don't know what is bottom-up approach, but it's an object-oriented development. Okay, which is a bottom-up approach over there, and we can just do some small throwaway programs. Okay, so we'll try to check that. At least in the last session, we'll try to see what actually these means. Okay, these things means. It is also a handy desk calculator. You can just use like that. Okay, I'll be showing that today. Okay, so introduction. Why Python? Okay, so it is simple to use. Yes, offering much more structure. Okay, so they're very much similar to C. Okay, so and also better than C with respect to error checking. Okay, so it's a high level language which uses a lot of data types. Okay, similar to C. Okay, but little bit different. We will be seeing them. Okay, so probably computer science students will be understanding this, but anyway, I'll be showing all these things when we start with the hands-on. Okay, fine. And one more thing with respect to Python. So it can be used very much similar to our Unix or Linux shells. Okay, so this Python, okay, so can be used very similar to our Unix or this Linux shells. Okay, so interactively. Okay, so students who have studied Arc or Perl programming. Okay, so they would understand. Okay, so how flexible this Arc and Perl scripting, we call them as scripting. Okay, how beneficial they are. Is it clear? So Python works very similar. You can do all the job that you are doing using a Unix shell. Okay, so you can do all those jobs using Python. Is it clear? So whatever you try to do with the Unix shell using the awk scripting or Perl scripting, that can be done using Python. Is it clear? Okay. Yes, and many things more than that. Okay. So why Python again? Okay. So you have one more thing that is most beneficial. Okay. So they're very compact. They're very compact compared to C or Java programs because there are a lot of formalities in a C and Java programming. Okay, so there are a lot of traditions that are followed, and there are a lot of formalities that are aware that has to be accommodated in our C and Java programs. But that is not there with the Python. Is it clear? Okay, so how all those things I'll be showing that. I'll be showing it. Okay, so they are very hence we claim that Python is a very compact programming language. Okay, and it's extensible. See, one excellent thing with Python is you can plug it to most of the devices, electronic devices. You can plug to it. Okay, how to plug all those things we will be saying probably in tomorrow's or day after tomorrow's session. Whenever there is a link for these type of plugging, I'll just mention them with some simple examples. Okay, so we can plug to most of the devices, and you can plug to any of the programming environment. Is it clear? Okay, you can just use it as a command for already existing software. Okay, your principal sir was saying that there are already some maintenance projects. Okay, so if you get into that maintenance project, a legacy project, okay, written already in C, C++, Java, or some other languages, okay, you can use this Python to control them. Is it clear? Okay, so you can plug this Python. Okay, so this is very much this can be viewed as a future. Is it clear? Okay, so Python is the future of IT industry. Okay, so it can be viewed because I can even update or edit my legacy applications. At the same time, I can develop new applications because there are newer devices, there are newer hardwares in the market. Okay, so I can plug all these devices. Okay, so I can control them using this Python coding. Okay, your compiler can be easily embedded over there. Is it clear? Okay, so hence it is also called as an extensible language. Okay, means I can use it with an already existing programming language. Okay, so that is why probably this workshop is arranged for you. Is it clear? Just to have a learning opportunity with a future technology. Is it clear? Okay, fine. So that was about a small theory about what is Python and why Python. Okay, and also one more thing. See, you can use this Python in any of the technology as like your principal sir was mentioning. Okay, so in blockchain we have Python. Okay, so we use Python. In artificial intelligence we use Python. Okay, so in machine learning we use Python. Is it clear? In IoT. Okay, so Internet of Things, okay, which is one of the most hot technology in the industry. Okay, so we use Python over there. Cloud, we use Python to control, okay, to do most of the things on cloud, we use Python. Is it clear? So if we become an Python programmer, then we can get accommodated to any of these technologies. Is it clear? Okay, so we will get suited for any of this. Okay, so we will suit for any of these emerging technologies and probably in the future technologies also. Okay, so I can guarantee you that Python will be there at least for another 10 to 15 years down the line. Okay, so more than that I can't guarantee because this is the most vulnerable field, this IT industry. Okay, so it goes on getting updated itself. Okay, hence at least 10 years or 15 years of guarantee I can give with this technology. Okay, so it's such a robust and as of now an established language. Is it clear? Okay, so it's taking over all the Java related applications. Okay, so people are preferring to go with Python. Is it clear? Okay, so because of its features benefits. Okay, so features benefits. Okay, so yes, a small commercial information of why Python. Okay, so why Python? Okay. What is in the name called Python? Okay, so it's nowhere related to the reptile called Python, the snake family. Okay, so it was actually developed by a person called Van Rossum. Okay, so he was very much a fan of a show called Monty Python's Flying Circus. Okay, so that show was in the name of a person called Monty Python. Okay, so hence he named his language that he was developing, okay, as Python. Is it clear? Okay, so it is nowhere related with the features, the reptile features, okay, or else some other story related to this. Okay, so it's very clear the person who developed this programming language, like Cunningham and Ritchie, okay, they are the contributors for our C programming. Okay, so in the same way, Van Rossum is the contributor, is the father of this Python programming language. Okay, so he developed it, and he started doing this 30 years back. Is it clear? Python is established and it's very familiar and it's famous now, okay, in the market right from past around 5 to 10 years. Okay, but it started, its birth was in late 80s, okay, around 30 years before. Is it clear? Okay, so and then he named it based on one of his TV shows. Okay, so the person who was involved with his TV show called Monty Python. That's a small history of how actually this name Python. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so that was a very detailed introduction to Python. Okay, so yes, now what I'll do is let me get into the interpreter. Hope everyone has installed Python. Can I get yes or no? Has everyone installed Python? Okay. Then what's the difference between this statement and this statement? Okay, so I'll try to explore that. There are a lot of things that has to be, okay. Yes, I did something, instead of print, I gave Raghavan and within quotes, okay, it just returned. See the difference. Both are print actually. Is it clear? Okay, so please listen to me. But this print is very much helpful for us in the PyCharm IDE, because there we will not be able to use these type of, we have colons. I did not get that. Sravanti. Okay. So where did we have colon? I did not get that, but anyway. So we have single quote and double quotes. Is it clear? Okay. So there is a small difference. There is a small difference over here. Okay. So when I say this, it is also a print statement. It is also a print statement. The spam eggs, whatever I am saying. Okay. But it prints whatever is there, including the quotes. Including the quotes. If I don't put quotes, okay, single quote or double quote. No, it just takes that you are just trying to type something. Is it clear? Okay. So for example, X. X was a variable that, okay, so Y, okay, so what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? It's an error. Okay, so it's just saying that I'm just trying to do something odd. Okay, so but if I say Y, means it's assuming that yes, this fellow is trying to print Y, and then it prints with the quote. Is that clear, everyone? The difference between print and the quoted prints. Okay, so now we still have a lot of questions. I know that because there is a double quote, there is a single quote, what to use, when to use, all these things we will be exploring. Okay, so we will be exploring the meaning of single quote and double quote, all these things. Okay, single quote, double quote works well with both the print and the normal, this command prompt. Is that clear? Okay, so I could have done this way also. Okay, so that's also the same thing. It just prints with a single quote. Okay, so that's the standard behavior of this shell. Okay, so now yes, you can have this print statement or this type of things, but this type of printing will happen most oftenly in the interactive mode. Is it clear? In the interactive mode, like this command prompt. Okay, let it be in Unix or in the shell. But these things will not work in an IDE. Okay, so that is integrated development environment. When we start using PyCharm, these things will not work. Okay, so we require, or else in a program. Is it clear? When I write a program to print hello world, program to do a calculation of two numbers or to generate a Fibonacci series. Is it clear? Okay, so at that time, these type of things will not work. We need to use the standard print. Okay, so then what is the code that we are supposed to put over here? Okay, so Python, okay, is the language which give you an flexibility of either using a single quote or double quote. Is it clear? Please make a note of it. Anyway, we will be very much practiced with use of single or double quote and when to use them. Okay, if there is a conflict. Okay, so or if I want to accommodate something else. Is it clear? Okay, so should I use a double quote or a single quote? All these things we will be trying to explore. Okay, so later. Okay, but right now we will just have a belief that, okay, if you want to have a string to be printed, you can put it inside a quote. Is it clear? You need to put inside a quote, not you can, you should. Is it clear? Okay, hope everyone are following. Okay, so now we will try to, I think it's already 1:15. Okay, so we will just leave to, today we will just stop this session. Is it clear? Okay, so I need to have a break. 2 o'clock, I have one more session. Okay. So let me just stop over here. Shashikiran sir or Benaka sir, can you please take over this?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Today it was a wonderful session. So thank you, sir. And it was an interactive session from the students also. So students also were, he saw that they were very well interested in this by seeing the chart, questions and answers also they were doing it. So it was a very good. So now only I request the students. So we want the attendance. So you just put your USN number in the chart. Okay, so that will be taken as attendance today. Okay, and tomorrow we will rejoin at around 11 o'clock. We will again rejoin the session. Thank you, one and all. So all the participants are requested to put their USN number in the chart. So that will be the attendance for today's session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Raghavan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.